They say the truth always finds a way to escape. But in the world of the Browns, the truth doesn't just escape. It bleeds out in slow, painful drips. And on that Sister Wives Tell-All stage, the bleeding began with one seemingly throwaway comment. Kody Brown, the man who built an empire on the image of love and unity, looked into the camera and said he never loved any of them. A sentence so brutal it sucked the air out of the room. And yet, days later, he tried to walk it back, blaming it on a moment of intense emotion. But the damage was done. Because even if he claimed to love all three of them, his tone told. A story his words couldn't cover up. And then came the confession. Not about money, not about property, but about something far more intimate. A personal experience from his college days. A story Kody admitted he had only ever shared with two people, Meri and Robyn. Meri got the story because they were young and close back then. Robyn, she pulled it out of him with her so-called intuition. But hidden inside that soft confession was a blade aimed at the hearts of Christine and Janelle. Because what Kody really revealed was that he never felt emotionally safe with them. For years now, Kody has sung Robyn's praises in a way that no husband in a plural marriage should. She's wonderful. She's special. Their marriage feels like divine love. He even dared to admit that falling for her was painful, not because of guilt, but because the other wives resisted. Yet somehow, he remains blind to the fact that their resistance wasn't jealousy, it was survival. A woman ignored for years doesn't resent the new wife. She resents the man who allowed the imbalance to grow. And still, Kody and Robyn's life carried on. Just not like the polygamous dream they once preached. Robyn, the woman who entered this family in 2010 with humble promises and a shy smile, is now living in a $2.1 million palace in Flagstaff. 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a guest house, an RV garage that can hold 7 vehicles. It's the kind of home that doesn't just say, "We made it," it screams it. They got here by selling their first Flagstaff home for a $1.775 million profit, combining that with what many suspect were proceeds from the Coyote Pass property, a $420,000 down payment later. They were in a home bigger, flashier, and more exclusive than anything the other wives ever saw. But behind those walls, complications. Kody's separation from Meri, Janelle, and Christine left wounds that don't close easily. In private moments, Kody has grown distant with Robyn too, leaving her to play the patient, supportive wife while he heals. On camera, she talks about wanting him to reconnect with his children. Off camera, she enjoys the life he's given her, a life no longer burdened by multiple households or the financial chaos of plural marriage. Then came season 19's Tell-All, a chance, we were told, for answers. But when Kody and Robyn took their seats, they were armed not with honesty, but with silence. They avoided pointed questions. When pressed about the early days of their relationship, Kody brushed it off entirely. Robyn called some of the footage disturbing and left it there. Their refusal to dig deep said more than any confession. Could viewers wanted the emotional truth? Instead, they got polished deflections, measured tones, and a desperate attempt to maintain control of the narrative, while Christine, Janelle, and even Meri laid bare their pain. Kody and Robyn chose distance, and that distance only deepened suspicion. Fans wondered, what are they hiding? I refuse to address favoritism, family division, or the painful truth about their early romance. The more they dodged, the colder they appeared. By the end of the Tell-All, the so-called United Front had done little more than cement their image as out of touch and unwilling to own the damage they'd caused. But then came the twist. Robyn Brown, once the humble, wide-eyed newcomer, let her mask slip. In part 3 of the Tell-All, she admitted what the others had always known. She was Kody's favorite. It wasn't said with guilt. It was said like a fact. She even shared a small, seemingly meaningless detail when she and Kody travel. Her luggage gets the rack. Christine's and Janelle's bags on the floor. To outsiders, it's nothing. To these women, it was everything. Proof that in Kody's world, there were first-class wives and there were everyone else. Robyn has cut herself off almost completely from her former sister wives and their children. No reconciliation attempts, no real outreach. Just photos surfacing from May 2025 showing her and Kody in Idaho Falls, smiling, living comfortably, there. $2. $1 million fortress standing as the monument to their survival. Rumors about money swirled, especially after an insider claimed Robyn had spent $60,000 in a single year on collectible dolls. Yes, dolls. While other family members faced financial strain, her passion for expensive figurines carried on quietly, funded by a man no longer dividing his income between 4 households. And yet, in the middle of all this, Christine decided to speak up. Not with vague accusations, with receipts. In the tell-all, Kody grew emotional, describing how meeting Robyn was a one-of-a-kind experience, something he'd never felt with anyone else. It was meant to sound romantic. Instead, it sounded like erasure. Christine remembered a very different truth. Years ago, Kody had said the same things about her. And not just in passing, he'd written it in the family's own book, Becoming Sister Wives. Christine sat there, visibly bristling as she told host Sukanya Krishnan exactly how wrong Kody's memory was. Back then, she was the one he admired. The one he spoke about with excitement, certainty, and pride. And now, watching him cry over Robyn like she was the only one who ever moved him? It wasn't just painful, it was infuriating. David Woolley, Christine's new husband, stayed steady at her side, offering silent support while the man she once called her partner rewrote their history on national television. The irony was almost too much, Kody accusing Christine of comparing herself to Robyn while doing the very thing that forced that comparison in the first place. In the end, Christine's point was simple. Kody's version of events changes depending on the audience. But the truth? The truth was written years ago, in his own words, for the whole world to read. And no amount of polished interviews, evasive answers, or $1 million homes can erase it. Because in the sister wives world, the cracks aren't in the walls of Coyote Pass or the foundations of their homes. They're in the stories they tell, and the stories they try to hide. The unraveling of the Browns' world didn't happen overnight. Christine was the first to leave, followed by Janelle, then Mary, and suddenly, Kody and Robyn were left alone, navigating a monogamous marriage that seemed simple on paper but was anything but in reality. Fans had watched for years as cracks formed, but Kody often portrayed himself as blindsided by the breakups. In truth, his narrative has always had a way of bending to suit him, a way of erasing the past he no longer wants to face. One of his most controversial statements, that he never truly loved any of his former wives, sent shockwaves through the fan base. It was cruel, unnecessary, and yet, in his mind, a truth spoken in the heat of emotion. He later tried to soften it, insisting he loved them all. But viewers weren't buying it. On the season 19 101 specials, Kody opened up about his connection with Robyn, calling it true love, a force so strong that even the presence of his other wives couldn't distract him. He spoke with tears in his eyes, recounting that first unforgettable moment with her, declaring it absolutely precious. And yet, in painting Robyn as the only wife who moved him, he effectively diminished every other relationship he'd ever had. Christine, who remembers those early days vividly, wasn't about to let his words stand unchallenged. The tension didn't stop there. Kody revealed that he had shared intimate details of his college years only with Mary and Robyn, a confession that made it painfully clear where he felt safe emotionally. Christine and Janelle, outside that circle of trust, think their reactions were entirely human. Any woman sidelined for years would have felt hurt and overlooked. But Kody, consumed by his devotion to Robyn, often seemed oblivious to the weight of his actions. He even admitted that falling in love with Robyn was painful because of the resistance he faced from his other wives. Yet, he seemed unaware that their responses stemmed from years of emotional disconnect, not resentment toward Robyn. Meanwhile, Robyn's life had become the image of luxury, from her start in 2010 as Kody's fourth wife. She gradually pulled him away from plural responsibilities, encouraging him to prioritize her. Their Flagstaff home, a $1 million mansion with 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a guest house, and an RV garage, stands as a monument to that shift. Their first Flagstaff home sold for $1.775 million, a profit that helped fund this extravagant upgrade, along with proceeds from Coyote Pass. And yet, money didn't erase tension. Kody occasionally grew distant, even with Robyn, as they adjusted to monogamy and the fallout from previous marriages. Then came the season 19 Tell-All, an event billed as the chance for honesty. But Kody and Robyn sat in silence more often. Then they spoke, dodging pointed questions about favoritism, family division, and their early courtship, while Christine, Janelle, and Meri bared their hearts. Kody and Robyn offered measured, controlled responses that left viewers frustrated and skeptical. Their polish, meant to impress, only widened the perception of emotional distance. And then Robyn's true self emerged. By the end of the tell-all, she acknowledged what everyone had long suspected. She was Kody's favorite, a seemingly trivial detail. Getting the luggage rack on trips symbolized years of preferential treatment. While her former sister, wives carried their bags on the floor, Robyn traveled in comfort, and she didn't pretend it bothered her. She embraced her status unapologetically. Living in Idaho Falls in the $1 million mansion she and Kody now call home, rumors of financial strain were undermined by facts. Robyn's hobbies, like her $60,000 doll collection, continued unabated. The family's plural structure may have dissolved, but her lifestyle remained untouchable. Christine, however, refused to let history be rewritten. In the tell-all, she confronted Kody, armed with proof. Years ago, in Becoming Sister Wives, Kody had written about Christine with the same admiration and excitement he now reserved solely for Robyn. His insistence that only Robyn moved him erased Christine's very real place in the family story. David Woolley, Christine's husband, offered quiet support, steady amidst the storm. As the former wife reminded the world that Kody's history wasn't as selective as he made it appear, the narrative Kody tried to control unraveled anyway. By emphasizing his divine love for Robyn and downplaying past relationships, he invited scrutiny, criticism, and disbelief. The other wives' accounts, unfiltered and raw, contrasted sharply with the polished image Kody and Robyn attempted to maintain. For fans, it wasn't just about loyalty or favoritism, it was about the truth. And in this story of love, betrayal, and self-preservation, the truth was messy, uncomfortable, and impossible to ignore. What began as a season of distance and dysfunction has become a tale of reinvention. Robyn stands at the center, secure and unapologetic, while the others have moved forward, carving out lives independent of Kody. Yet the shadow of the past lingers. In the silent glances, the avoided questions, and the wealth that symbolizes both triumph and tension. Kody and Robyn may have emerged together, but their journey exposes a complicated reality. That love, in the world of the Browns, has always been more about control, comfort, and favoritism than about equality or shared history. And as the cameras stop rolling and the lights dim, one truth remains undeniable. Christine's memory, the records of Kody's words, and the experiences of Janelle and Meri stand firm. No amount of selective storytelling, luxurious homes, or, emotional displays can rewrite the lives they lived or the consequences Kody and Robyn now face as the last couple standing in a house built on so many fractured hearts.